The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Theme song is gonna play, and I don't want to have it playing in the background, and I don't even know. So let's check and see if the Trench Talk theme is gonna play this week. There it is. You tuned into the Farron Dozier show on mbradio.us, Trench Talk edition, and Live Tour Sports. Catch me here Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, only on mbradio.us. How did I do? Was that a good take? That might work. All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website and mbradio.us. We gotta bless the show before we get started. Let's go. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to his word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when he comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh,
too,
man, that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. You know the fact that both parents have sickle cell trait, there's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org. Do you remember studying sickle cell in biology class? What's the Count on sickle cell trait prevention is here to bring you awareness, education, and prevention conversations around the risk factors of this inherited gene. Visit wdconsct.org.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier show on KCAA. All right, good evening. Welcome to the Farron Dozier show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website and mbradio.us. We gotta bless the show before we get started. Let's go. When I was in my mother's womb, I had a calling on my life to do something in the glory of God and marry it like a wife. Commit myself to his word and never be led astray. And when it's all over, when he comes, I'll be glad to see that day in the morning time. 6.5 FM, 10:50 a.m. and streaming at KCA.com website. The station leaves no listener behind. Again, thank you for tuning in. If you are driving in your car, you got to get out. Type in kcaradio.com, click listen live or watch live because we're streaming live from the website in studio tonight. Also, you can go and download the app. If you are on Apple, excuse me, or Android, whatever you operate on your phone, go download the app and you catch all the other podcasts here Monday through Sunday, however you language it. Monday through Monday, you can find something to listen to or watch all night long. Make sure you catch me on Wednesdays. So that's tomorrow on the Farron Dozier Show on the Military Broadcast Radio Network. That's right, MB Radio. I have a conversation tomorrow. That's where I have most of my military talk shows, conversations, but we still mix them up into a variety show. So either way, you can find me here or there on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Let's see. Take care of some community business. I don't know what's happening, but the schedule has not been approved yet. I got the dates. We're just waiting for a couple more teams to get situated, but IE Dogs will be in season this coming 2026, 2027 season. 4 home games, 6 of those. So it's 10 home games, 10 away games. 6 of them are going to be in Linwood in the tournament style, back-to-back Saturday, Sundays, and then we got 4 actual home games. Right now we're working on the Norton Gym, but if you out there, whatever city in San Bernardino you wanna host us as a team in your gym, we are open to play anywhere in the Inland Empire, from San Bernardino County to Riverside County, wherever we could play in the IE. But right now we're working on the Norton Gym to play there, our 4 home games. I have a lot going on tonight, so we're just going to go through the sequence of the show. Shouts out to Coach LG. He will be calling in. He's got practice with his youth, so he's going to call in shortly. But part of the ABA, the IE Dogs, our conversation, we take care of a few things. So personally, is for the love of dogs. My dog Daisy, I had to put her down after 14 years, so I don't have the heart for another pet. So I'm going to contribute my time in bringing awareness and conversations to those animals, those dogs that need foster care, for the cats and the dogs. There's a lot of stuff going on, spay and neuter, a lot of things going on, especially in this county around the dogs and cats. So we're going to use that conversation for dogs and cats, for the ABA. Of course, my sickle cell trait and hydration campaign, personal to me as well. What else? Mental toughness, of course, personal to me as well. Mental health. Youth suicide, veteran suicide, all those conversations, mental toughness. But then there's space, right? It's not just what we care about as an organization, it's what do you care about as a community. Can you close that? Can you close that door? Yeah. So we want to share our platform with you, is what I'm trying to say, right? We care about what you care about. So if you care about whatever, lupus, if it's a chronic illness, if it's a cause, Jesse's here to share just some of his experiences being around that community and those children and adults. And so we're actually adopting part of that conversation around the foster care children. And I say that for you, those who are listening, for the relatedness, right? You may have not been in a foster care program or a foster care system, but you may know someone. You don't even really know unless they tell you, because they don't walk around with a badge, right? So, but my conversation to that is, how can I relate to that? So to be honest, if you look in your life and you tell the truth, to yourself about how you grew up in your family, we hear conversations in the world. The blood is thicker than water. A lot of people are not even connected to their own families, that they got play cousins and they got all these, things that they talk about. But what is that coming from? It's coming from a space of disconnection. It's coming from a space of a broken sense of belonging. People language it sometimes as, I'm the black sheep of the family. Like, you hear people talk about how they describe their experience of their own families, right? So can you imagine if that's how you feel about your own family, low-key, silently, we suffer in silence? Can you imagine what it is to be in a foster care system where you have, it boggles my mind, because they have no family that they can go to, right? And thank God that there are people who in this program that are willing to accept a child that's not their own, right? So you have all that different dynamics. So why we're taking care of this conversation? Because if we tell the truth, there's a lot of healing that needs to go on in all of us. And some people are not even connected to their own family, that you find close friends more than you find relationship with your own personal family. So that experience might be different in the foster care system, but it all boils down back to what it is to be human and the sense of belonging. And clearly, I would imagine that the child that's in foster care, their sense of belonging is fractured, right? And so Jesse is here, man. How are you doing today, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Appreciate you for hanging out for a little bit, man, to kind of give the listeners a sense of this conversation that we're bringing to the table. For some people, it might be a new discussion. Some people might, of course, we've heard about the foster care system, the programs, but never really sat down and listened to someone. So I know you have some experience in this world. So when you hear that term, even foster care, like what comes to mind for you when you hear that term?
Yeah, I think exactly that. Just to foster, right? So what does foster even mean? The way that I like to try to explain it, a lot of to individuals that are trying to just learn the system, is just being empathetic and then just trauma informed. I think a lot of times individuals bypass that and they label children that are troubled, or they'll have higher behaviors compared to a kiddo that was raised with their mom and dad. And they just kind of see them and they're already just labeled as bad kids. And there's something called the labeling theory, and within that, when somebody's labeled something, 9 times out of 10 they embrace that label, and 9 times out of 10 it's a negative label. You know what I mean? So a lot of times these individuals carry this label where they carry and they have a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? So they go about life, and then so.
And I get that now, foster care, I think that's a human being experience. I think most of us deal with some label growing up.
Disconnection, disengaged. Yeah, for sure. As you kind of mentioned, you could grow up within your own home but still feel disconnected within the individuals that you're residing with. And then even then too, like, everyone deals with trauma differently. You know what I mean? You could grow up with your siblings and be in the same home. You could be in a car accident with your spouse or whomever, and each of you are gonna deal with that car accident differently. You know what I mean? So imagine being in the system. You can't there's not just one way to fix and help a kiddo. There's numerous ways. You know what I mean? So that's why, just being part of numerous of different programs and getting a lot of assistance within the community has been beneficial to help these troubled youth.
Yeah. And again, so us as an organization, as EQ Athletics, because we get contracts and we go into the school districts, create our own programs for leadership, social, emotional intelligence, and sports conditioning. So with the ABA basketball team, that's one of our platforms that we express those conversations within. And so, like I said, partner with the Bloomington Chambers, getting these businesses involved, getting the community involved. Our plan is to just have those children come to a game for free. So businesses, we're going to give it all. We're not charging. We're going to give everything away. Find some resources to invite to that table and some fun things as well, right? So they can have an opportunity to, because I believe, first of all, you got to create this connection, right? There's a lot of trust, confidence level issues that you're dealing with the children. Can you touch on that?
Yeah, I think I had a great opportunity 2 weeks ago with the shout out to the CFS ILP team because they took about 30 youth bowling.
Oh, no way.
Yes, bowling at the was it the Strike X off of Arrowhead and Orange Show?
Up there, yeah.
Yeah. So and some of the youth were 20, some of the youth were 18, some of the youth were 16 years old, and it was their first time bowling.
No way.
You know what I mean? So it's just like giving them that opportunity to live like a normal life. You know what I mean? And just engage in those like what we take for granted opportunities of just to because I could go and pick up my kids right now and be like, we're gonna go bowling.
Yeah.
And they're gonna think nothing of it. Like, yay, you know what I mean? But like other kiddos, they were there and they were just so you could just see the euphoria in them.
That's
you know what I mean? And
my
just like,
guy.
man, because they didn't even know how to grip the ball. You know what I mean? So man, I look like an all-star over there. And I'm trash at bowling. You know what I mean? But like just being able to take them out and
legit.
giving that opportunity from the CFS ILP team
That's legit.
was amazing. It was an amazing opportunity. I forgot what your question was.
Yeah, but it's that whole thing right there, right? It's being able to connect and build that confidence, right? Build that trust with that youth, because like you said, being in that program, I hate to point to the program because I believe it's a human being experience that we all experience some of that disconnected, the sense of belonging, wanting to be accepted, but then being in a program like that where I can't even imagine, bro. Like that's a different world for me.
Yeah. I see a lot of it where like a lot of the youth, they just struggle with like some of those soft skills and just being able to engage with one another. You know what I mean? A lot of them just completely disengaged where like though they're in the community, that's cool, that's good, and we're getting them out.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, they just don't even know how to interact. They don't even know how to converse. You know what I mean? So like,
and that's where we want to step in. We want to step in that space so that we can bring our conversations to the table and allow that natural organic dialogue to transpire.
And I think giving them the opportunity to attend some of the ABA games is just going to give them new life and then just show them a new experience of life. Because a lot of them get stuck in the world of foster because like a lot of them too, unfortunately, I mean, gratefully so, but they're it's just every day of the week it's somebody, whether they're ISFC, they're getting an ISFC in-home support counselor, they're getting a wraparound team, they're getting ABA, TBS, whatever services that they're getting. It's like every day of the week.
Because it's part of the program.
Because it's part of the program, because of behaviors and then whatnot. Though, the behaviors are there and it is trauma informed and it's best practice, but they're not able to engage
be
a
child.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how often, like I'll tell them like, man, when was the last time you just rode your bike? You know what I mean? Just like little things like that. And it's like, man, they're not really able to do so just because they're just so confined based off of the system, which understand like,
of course.
Thank you. You know what I mean? Thank you, because like we need that. We need those. I used to be a TBS coach. I used to be in wraparound. I used to, you know what I mean? I used to do all that. But just being able to provide them that opportunity to just be a normal kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that,
right
it's
there.
one of the most beautiful things to see just in life. Like when I just see a kid be a kid.
Yeah, that's
especially
what we
the
want.
kid that if I'm going to do a in-home check or in-home my in-home visits or whatever the case is, like just seeing the kid be a kid.
Before I let you go, one of the biggest things for me is that transition at that age where they're going to leave that foster care house, 18 years old, whatever that is. Where do they go from there? Most people think they're just going to be put out on the street, but there are programs available, right, that can help that child transition into a transitional home. Or can you share that real quick, a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So 6 months prior, 17 and a half. Well, technically, no, let me backtrack. So once they turn 16 years old, we can start introducing them to a program that's called ILS, so Independent Life Skills.
Okay.
Once we start teaching them the independent life skills, they are in now ILP, Independent Living Program.
Okay.
So then from there, we'll start applying to numerous of different programs out there, which is called THP, Transitional Housing Program.
Yeah.
And that'll get them housed from 18 till 21. But same thing, we have to keep them in extended foster care, EFC.
Yeah.
and ensure that they're in compliance. So with
So
that,
our same classes, same checks.
with that is a lot of just life skills and just applying for jobs. What is opening a bank account look like? What is what I mean? Just doing those things, taking them out in the community, just being an adult. So that's a lot of our day to day. That's the day to day in Jesse's life.
I hope y'all that are out here listening. ABA, our basketball program, the IE Dogs ABA on Instagram. That's where we're taking care of this season, and it may not just be for this season. This might be just one of the programs we adopt. Because for me, that is something that I had to do as an adult, 40 years old, to go back and heal my relationship with my parents, and just my own, all the stories that I made up, all the labels, all that stuff that we do it as people. We're not; those are people in that foster care system. Those children are going to be men and women, adults, and they're going to grow up, right? So how can we help that conversation? So I'm looking forward to it, man. Appreciate you for coming to hang out with me today. Sir. I'll have you come back and get some more details when we can get to that next part of that level.
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the Farron Dozier Show. Jesse was here. Thank you, man. Shouts out to Fernie, Angel at the BCC. Check out the Bloomington Chambers of Commerce. I'm the director of Community Connections, so if you want to hook up with us, I'm over there too. This is the Farron Dozier Show. KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Shout out to what's the count. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh, man, that shot was cold, man.
Hated it, but it was good. Yeah. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn, are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I didn't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. You know the fact that both parents have sickle cell trait, there's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org. FM, 1050 AM, and streaming at kcaradio.com. I need y'all to shift over a little bit so my man could be in the screen. Center herself. Yeah, there you go. See, look at yourself in the way. There you go. There we go. All right. Those of you who listen on the radio, yes, we are on camera in the station. Go to the website, click listen live, watch live. All right. So if you watch Where Are You One, we had a pretty decent conversation that night. I think it led to a lot of just a lot of relationship. I mean, we were all strangers here. I didn't know these gentlemen, and so we left that episode like wanted to have another dialogue. So here we are. Adam, Where Are You? Part 2. Pastor Luke here. Couple of Tuesdays ago, and I asked him, sitting next to me, what is it? When you hear that conversation, what is it being male, man? And his answer was right in alignment with what I've been listening for from since March, since we started this. Shouts out to Mr. Walker, who was in surgery. We were praying for you, bro. We holding it down for you, Mr. Walker. So get well. And shouts out to Charlie and Angelica.
Yes.
But yeah, Pastor Lou was like, vulnerable. That's what it is to be a male. So in this part 2 episode, we're going straight there. we don't have a lot of time. We don't. I got some direct questions I want to ask, and I hope that you gentlemen are opening up enough to just share where you are with these questions. But do me a favor, reintroduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
Swayzer, Reno Valley scholar.
Capo.
All right, cool.
Yep. Joshua Monk, same thing, Moreno Valley scholar. Also owner operator of Move It Already Moving Company. You can check that out on Facebook, Instagram, Google, all of the above.
Shout out to my boy Farron, Mr. Randy, and we here. Finish the Race Foundation.
All right, gentlemen. So we gotta just go right to it. No holds back bars. Pastor Lou brought up the perfect answer to what it is to be a male man. He said being vulnerable. What's your response to being vulnerable as a male man?
I definitely understand that, because especially as a Black man, you're constantly under attack. You're constantly living in a state of vulnerability, especially. Hold
on, I don't want you to. I want you to say make it personal.
Oh, make it personal.
Yeah, not as a. We don't generalize conversations. So
okay.
For you, what is it to be vulnerable as a male man? What does that look like? Is that difficult? Is it cool? Is it?
It's not cool. From my personal experience, it's not cool. Right. Even when people tell me it's cool, vulnerability has always been weaponized against me. People use my vulnerability as a tactic or as a ploy to attack me, my character, or just who I am as a person.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Vulnerable. Into the mic. You gotta come to the mic.
I don't like that word.
Okay. So give me some feedback.
I don't like being vulnerable. I'm trying to figure out the.
You're not ready? Okay, I'm gonna let you marinate on it. You can steal people's answers too.
For me, just being married, and I have to be vulnerable because I got kids looking up to me. So when I in that moment of vulnerability, I learned like what type of dad I am, what type of man I am. So it's not easy to be vulnerable, but I accept it because I've been growing from that stage. I didn't used to be vulnerable. I'll turn up in a minute, but I can't do that with my kids. You know what I'm saying? And once they see that I can't control my emotions, or I can't be, go down to their level and see what they need, then I'm not gonna grow.
So I'm gonna be straight up. I'm with all y'all. I gave up being vulnerable at 14. And that was because of a junior high school breakup with this girl. And now, as a 14-year-old, I don't even know what vulnerable meant. I don't even know how my mind even landed on that. But all I know, the pain and the emotion that I felt when I found out that she was gonna leave me for some other dude, and I went back to her and asked her to give me one more chance, like Biggie, and she was like, "No, you're not the guy for me." My mind landed on, I'm not gonna be vulnerable, and I have to defend myself in relationships. Now, I was 14 years old. You know when I figured that out? A glimpse of it at 40. So can you imagine how my relationships turned out? From 14 to 40, 2 failed marriages, broken relationships, not vulnerable. I hated that word. I didn't even use that word because of the experience that came with it in that survival state of a young teenage child.
Yeah, and I feel some people take your vulnerability as a weakness. Some people prey on that. Some people feel he never been through that, so I'm gonna put him through that. He open to that, not knowing about that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the same way with you, as far as with the relationships and so forth. Seeing others, feeling my partners being vulnerable, and seeing what happened to them from being vulnerable. I'm like, oh no.
But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? We grew up in the hood, so we couldn't be vulnerable on that level because it was predators out there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So the difference I see in the vulnerable of being a man vulnerable with your family and with your kids is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm vulnerable to the kids, but as far as outside of that, I'm hoping one day I can be vulnerable to the wife. That's probably about the only thing I'll probably be vulnerable to is the wife. You know what I'm saying? Other than that,
So for me, one of the key words of being vulnerable, it's being able to be okay with the willingness to, despite of the rejection and disappointment, See, a lot of times we think that we can avoid being disappointed.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, right? So as a man, and so as I asked the question since March, what is it to be a male man? 99% of the people have said protector and provider. And this conversation is about the ingredients of what it is to be a male man, right? If we're the foundation of the family, not the roof, but the foundation, and the foundation of your house is made up of all kind of ingredients, barbed wire, asphalt, right? All concrete. So for us as men, we have to be able to look at our foundation of our emotional state. So if I'm a provider as a man, but I'm upset providing, what is my partner's experience going to be of me? She's going to experience the frustration.
Yeah.
I'm providing, but I'm frustrated.
For sure.
I'm protecting, but I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the activity of what it is to be a male is the protector and the provider, and whatever that means, because that could mean something different than all four of us. What it is to be a protector and a provider. But across the board, what is our ingredients, right? And if I can be vulnerable as an ingredient, there also has to be a way that I have to be being vulnerable. And I have to get some skills, some knowledge to understand that, hey, you know what? I lived from 2 years old avoiding being disappointed in my mom.
Mm-hmm.
2 years old. That's how far I can go back and remember that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it happens into our experiences of our families, of our mom and dad or uncle or whatever that is. Where can you look and see where your vulnerability got corrupted or got fractured? Is there a spot?
Definitely. I can agree with you when it comes down to my mother, my father, and then more recently, even like my daughters, where the vulnerability got corrupted just because the way women have used my children as weapons against me in terms of things that, they were able to manipulate my kids into saying, certain things, or even when it comes down to betrayal, and I felt that from my children, which is something, like I said, when it comes down to being vulnerable, I feel like I've experienced it being weaponized against me, and all across the board, from any and every way, from family, friendships, to even children. So vulnerability is something that I definitely struggle with, just because I know how that moment can be used against you and flipped against you to do harm to you.
Right.
So
so a lot of people that I hear in conversations, they use the word, I want you to be transparent.
Yeah.
Right. So I look at the word, and a lot of times, out of the mouth comes the issues of life.
Mm-hmm.
So if a person tells me that they're looking for somebody to be transparent and to be vulnerable, that's because they're broken in that space. So I want you to show me your transparency first, then I'll show you mine. Right.
But at the same time, like my wife, she always used that word, be transparent with kids. Like, because I'm like, okay, this is what I say, and this is how I want it to go. But you said it before, that's not a relationship.
Yeah.
You're not building a relationship. You know what I'm saying? The transparency is building a relationship, showing them, okay, I want you to do it this way, but this is why I want you to do it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I learned that word, and I like to use it now because be transparent.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. When I told myself I'm not gonna be vulnerable at 14, you couldn't pay me to be vulnerable. I didn't know that at the time, but that's what I lived from. And then as I discovered that word at 40 and the trauma that came with it, it was like, I got to find another word that gives me my power back because I'm not vulnerable. And I had to start to examine myself and figure out, what word am I going to use that gives me that same experience, that I can be open and honest, but not use the word vulnerable.
But see, vulnerable, I think it comes with that type of energy. It's like, oh, if you be vulnerable, then you this and that. I think that's what the culture put.
Yeah. Come on, I need some feedback, bro. Where do you remember that vulnerability being a fracture, and you're like, you know what, I don't like that. I'm not.
And others, from watching others, sometimes you can learn a lot from watching other people.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable and letting their guard down and loving and just seeing how some people don't want to be loved.
Yeah.
So you be vulnerable and love someone, it's like you didn't put your all into it and let that guard down, and it's like you did that for nothing.
Yeah.
So from seeing that, I just like, damn, niggas ain't doing everything right. Let his guard down to be vulnerable.
For sure.
And shit, what it add up to?
Yeah. And it goes back, for me again, we talking about Adam, so we going back to the fall. If you look at Adam, for my interpretation, it's shame, embarrassment, disappointment, and a dash of blame, right? Those were the first strongholds for me when I look at that and I read that. And when I apply that to my life, I lived a lot of my life avoiding those same things. Disappointment, shame, and embarrassment. And then we blame other people. We and our language fractures us because whatever you saw that go through that person's life that was labeled as vulnerable, we don't even know if that was or not. Right. So our language is also our trap, because how we describe an episode that we see on TV and get 4 different perspectives. And for me, it might be vulnerable. For you, it might be something else, him. And so even we got to understand how our brain operates, and sometimes how we language stuff and describe it may not be the best word to describe that episode. And that becomes, and as a mind of a child, you got to look at that. A child's perception is open.
But I feel like when it comes down to, we're talking about vulnerability. I feel like the biggest thing is knowing who, how, when, and where you can even be vulnerable, because you can't be vulnerable with everybody. You can't be vulnerable in every space, because those things can bring harm, not only on just your life, but the people who you care about. Because if you're vulnerable coming from a place of hurt, talking about someone who's hurt you, you don't know how that's going to get back to that person from, that moment of vulnerability. And like I said, it's just, you have to also have some discernment in whether or not you're in the space to be vulnerable.
So the issue is, I'm gonna peel off another layer that's vulnerable. It's I can't show you my vulnerability.
That's what
I'm my vulnerable is right there. It's a description.
How somebody gonna know that you're vulnerable?
Exactly.
Just like I could be vulnerable right now just like how we was just talking about our dads. Our dads both passing. Sure. Like I didn't know he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
He don't know I'm vulnerable because I'm seeing a strong man.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna take the word vulnerable and be like, okay, he's vulnerable.
Right.
I'm like, okay, he's being real with me right now.
Right.
I don't know he's vulnerable though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the other layer of that conversation is it's a description. Yes, we use it to describe life, but what is behind that vulnerability is the fear of being. I think somebody said something. Again, shame, embarrassment, disappointment, slander, judged. Like there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes with that. Not being vulnerable because of an experience that I felt, that I made up, that maybe it wasn't because I asked the other person the questions to find out what that was. I just walk away with that. I'm not going to be vulnerable like I did with the girl.
But even within, did you think that you was being vulnerable?
I was 14.
You just being yourself.
I was 14. I had no idea.
You had no idea.
No idea.
You didn't know you was being. You went all in with no, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But that's what I'm saying. We make these decisions and these perceptions early.
Yeah. And we carry
early. I just told you I was 2. How would I know to even make that up at 2 years old? At 14, I'm a teenager, bro. But our mind, we have to understand. That's why I'm pointing at our ingredients is our personality, your character, your behavior, your body language. That shows up more. That's the first thing people see.
Yeah.
And if as a male man, we talking about having babies and wives and girlfriends, and we haven't even discovered that for our own self, but we're looking for that from her to give it to us. But I'm not going to give you mine because I know what that feels like. So you show me yours first.
I think when it comes down to, because going back to just the word vulnerability, I don't think we call it that. I think it's more so we say we being real. I'm keeping it 100 with you right now. You know what I mean? I'm being real with you right now. It's a description though. So, even when it comes down to, all right, we may not be able to identify it, or we may not identify it with the word vulnerability, but in the expression of you telling someone and you communicating to them like, hey, even the word transparent, like, hey, the way that the word vulnerability, because some people don't even know how to use vulnerability to the capability of it's coming from an emotional place. I'm being vulnerable in terms of my emotions, you know? So
I need my guys here. You quiet, bro. I need try to get up time in, bro. Nah, y'all go waiting on me. We putting the band-aids off tonight. Let me ask you a question. If you had to think of 3 things that you wanted to thank your mother for, what would you thank your mom for right now?
For being loving, unconditional loving.
Yeah.
Being there always when I need her.
Yeah.
So supportive, and whatever I do, right or wrong, she gonna support me. You know what I'm saying? She'll holler at me later for me to talk about me. Supportive in everything I do. Just being a mother, definition of a mother.
Is there 3 things that you can thank your father for?
Oh man, for being a hustler.
Yeah.
Being very supportive. My pops, go getter. He ain't feel to lay down for nothing. He went through a whole lot of. He just being a man's man.
So let me ask you this question: from you to your mother, what would you ask your mother to forgive you for how you treated her?
Forgive me for.
Yeah.
What can I ask my forgive me for? She forgave me for everything.
Yeah. So you had that conversation with her?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was one of the things that you had to go back and say, you know what, Mom, I'm asking you to forgive me for my behavior around A, B, and C?
Stress. I put her through a lot of stress. A lot of stress. She worried. She didn't worry many nights, cried many nights, prayed many nights for me. So I forgive her for that. Just send her through all the stress.
Now, can you see how some of that portrays out to you, to your peoples? Far as the stuff that you feel like, because I'm looking for that vulnerability, right? And you don't like that word.
Yeah.
So how do you express your vulnerability to the people that you care about, to your loved ones?
Oh, they know I love them. I could be vulnerable to them. My family, those that's vulnerable to me, I should say.
Yeah. And then how do you cut it off?
It's just like you can't trust everyone.
Yeah. So it goes back to trust.
It goes back to trust.
So I like that. I like that. So I can relate to that.
So he identifies the vulnerability with the trust.
Well, yeah.
I identify that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is my coach calling yet? No, not yet. Okay. So I got a segment for the coach. So again, for you, my guy, is there something that when you look at your moms that you want to look at and say, hey, Mom, forgive me for my behavior around A, B, and C?
Yeah. No, just like what he said, stress, not being vulnerable, and just excluding her from a lot of things that have and were taking place in my life, and her having to find out things the way that she did, and just not hearing stuff from me.
Yeah. I had to forgive my mom for, I feel like my mom abandoned me. I felt like she didn't listen to me, and I felt like she didn't love me. And I had to go back, but that was 40.
Yeah.
I'm 56 now. But that was those key things that I had to look back and was like, man, my mom did everything she could with what she had.
Yeah.
And I still acted like this because of the mind of a child.
Yeah.
And those fears and a lot of stuff that, again, those stories that I made up were not even the truth. They were my truth, but it wasn't the truth. You got something for your moms?
You know what? Honestly, I've always been vulnerable with my mom. I've always.
But what did you have to ask her for you to forgive from?
Nothing, because I was the son. I didn't hide. It's not that I did hide anything from her, but she could see that I tried to do my best. So I never.
But you treated her. I'm saying
I treated her like the. I just both of my parents. Regardless of how they acted, I never took my personal, whatever I felt on them, because she was a single mom. She did what the best she could do.
This is why I love this guy, because you get 4 different versions, right? See, we all got different experience, and not everybody has an issue with their mom and dad.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah,
but at the same time, sometimes we need to hear that.
Yeah,
that, you know what? I can have a relationship with my mom and dad. I can communicate. I can go to them for forgiveness, because it frees you up.
Yeah.
But a lot of those stories, we carry those stories, man, and then as men, it becomes a part of our ingredients. I'm loving, definitely. I'm kind, but I'm angry, I'm pissed off, I'm frustrated, I'm not vulnerable. Then who knows what she's gonna get?
Yeah.
Depending on when the pressure happens, when the pressure comes on.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying for this episode, I'm saying that it's not about what we do as males only. It's who we be. We're human beings, not human doings. So I can be a protector and a provider, but I could be a person who's upset and frustrated as a provider and causing harm to my family and not even realize it. Well, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm not getting no acknowledgement from my family, but who thanks their foundation when they go home at night? Oh, thank you, foundation, for holding up the house. Nobody thanks the foundation, but that's the part of that house.
Yeah.
If that bad boy's cracked, they can tear your house down from a cracked foundation. So if we're the foundation and we're cracked, we've got to go inside and figure out what are those cracks. And if not being vulnerable is one is enough.
Yeah.
What about asking dad what to forgive him for?
Oh yeah, that's that. You know,
that's
yeah. I'm with you.
With pops, you know what I'm saying. I never got to ask pops like why, because it was like we came up. It was like don't ask no questions.
Yeah.
So it's like you sit in the car. If you see something, you know what I'm saying, you gonna keep it. You know, I seen him. You know, not to, you know, put bad on my pops, but you know, he come give me. I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm happy to see pops. Like I was telling you, I'm happy to see pops. He got a woman in the car. I'm happy. Don't call me, bro. Say nothing to him.
Yeah,
I'm hot though. I ain't seen you in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? You come up, then you got the thing in the car. I gotta get to the back. We go see the boys. I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying?
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
You know
what I'm saying? But I never said it because I kept my mouth closed. I was just like, okay. I took my stuff out on the streets. Like, okay, I'm outside with it. Like I'm like you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be cool with mom, cool with pops. Oh, but the homie's gonna get it.
Yeah. Let me take. I appreciate y'all again from what I'm listening and what I'm hearing. The not being vulnerable definitely can come from trust, disappointment. I think those are enough ingredients. One is enough. And what I learned for myself, even around trust and confidence, that the Bible, when I go to the word, it says, put your trust in the Lord and have confidence in man. And that gave me the freedom from my spiritual context to look at my soul and be like, well, in my mind, will and emotions can't comprehend being vulnerable because of the survival state of mind and all the stuff that we carry from those emotional fractures. But if I put my spirit to lead my life now, so I'm letting the spirit stuff context lead. And so if the word says have confidence in man, then I got to go measure my confidence, but measure my confidence in myself. I'm not vulnerable to myself 100%. I'm not 100% confidence. So if I give up trust in my soul for trying to understand what trust is, and I say, okay, let me go to confidence in my mind, then if I tell the truth, I'm not 100% confidence. I'm about 80% confidence in myself. So what is that 20% that I don't have in confidence? That might be what I'm putting in front of y'all, that you better not speak to that 20%. Right? So because I'm gonna fight you if you point that out.
Right.
Of my lack of confidence.
Right. It's
Right.
gonna be a problem.
It's a problem. So I'm saying maybe we have to measure ourselves instead of saying I'm not vulnerable. And maybe you're not vulnerable 100%. Maybe you're vulnerable with 20%. Whatever that, at least you could stand on a piece of vulnerability that you could say, okay, I'm vulnerable this much. But then you got to do the work to find out why you're not vulnerable in that other 50%. And it's not on the woman.
No.
It's on you. And maybe she points those vulnerabilities out to you because that's what she needs. And we can talk about what the woman needs as well, because they have to heal too. Right? So everybody's trying to heal. We're marrying, we're dating everybody's history. You're not dating a person.
Yeah.
I'm dating all that stuff that you went through from birth to whatever age. So if that's 50 years of history over here and 50 years of history over there, that's 100 years of history combined that we're trying to figure out and sort through.
Let me ask you this. Like you say, like when you was younger, you walking by yourself down the street, are you vulnerable? Are you being vulnerable? Or are you not being vulnerable?
I don't even know how to answer that because I'm walking down the street.
But your senses is saying that you got to protect yourself, right?
I guess
If
it
you got-
depends
if you
on
got- if you- if you gotta get to- if you got to get to A to B.
it depends
I'm
on where we grew up.
I'm
If
just
I
saying, you grew up
if
in
I
LA.
grew up in LA,
You grew up in
and
LA.
the Bloods
You grew
on
up
one
in
side
LA.
and the Crips on one side,
You
I
can't
gotta pay attention. I'm not saying I'm not vulnerable, but because of those stories, I'm aware.
You can't show vulnerability then.
But I don't know. Again, it's a description. It's a description. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play a PSA. I like the young lady to come up here. I'm gonna give her my seat for a few minutes and let her say what she heard. This is the Farron Dozier Show on KC Radio 106.5 FM, 10:50 a.m. Charlottesville, what's the count?
Hey, I'm Sergeant First Class Farron Dozier. I'm here at the military base, and I have the sickle cell trait. Now, why I got involved is I experienced what they call sickle cell trait exertion. And I was doing the Army physical fitness test, the 2-mile run, and when I got done, I collapsed. A lot of soldiers and athletes have been dying at football fields and running track, and the family members have no idea that they have the sickle cell trait gene or that it's a trigger. So my purpose is to mobilize the community so we can find out what's in your genes. How will life be if we could prevent another child from being born with sickle cell trait or disease? And if the child was born with the trait or disease, that the family members would have the education, awareness, and resources in every city that they lived in. So tune into our webinar series and find out what's the count.
Welcome back to KCAA Radio. We're here on the Farron Dozier Show. We talk about male vulnerability. We got our special guests here, Joshua. We got Capo John in here. We got a young lady on here. Her name was Carly. We're gonna let her introduce herself to the audience.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be back. Well, not on this podcast, but I've done a few sessions in here before. My name is Carly Kalinich. I have a colorful past. I'll just say it like that. Part of what I do here in San Bernardino is I recently resigned as the director of reentry services of the largest funded reentry program in the IE. I'm getting ready to take over another organization here soon. I was a teacher for 15 years. I've been in the streets a little bit, so I kind of have a diverse background, but I heard some interesting things tonight, and I want to ask you gentlemen a question. Okay. Why vulnerability? Do you think vulnerability is really the issue? Because vulnerability means you're open to harm, right?
Right.
Okay. And is it vulnerability that we really need to be working on, or is it just that we need to learn how to articulate and communicate emotion? Because I think what we've missed is we don't want to be open to harm.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with some of what you guys have said, like, saying that you need to know who, what, where. I'm not just going to be open to anybody, right? I'm not just going to be subjected to harm.
Right.
I'm not subjecting myself. And a lot of that comes from trial and error experience and being observant, like John said, right? Watching who you're around. So why do we want to be vulnerable if we can't be vulnerable? You haven't even shown me that I can be vulnerable. I think what happens a lot of times is the mask that we wear and us not being able to face our own shadow, our own dragon, right? And when we can't face our own shadow, our own dragon, we can't articulate any of that to anybody else.
Right.
We have to sit with ourselves. So why vulnerability?
What I'm gonna say is that vulnerability is the fine line of who you are and who you want to be. Just like I said with me, with my kids, with my wife, I have to be vulnerable because if I'm not, I'm gonna be this ego. It's gonna be ego there. There's no room to challenge ego. I'm not gonna hear my son. I'm not gonna hear my wife. I'm not gonna hear my daughters. It allows you to be in a position where you're not in control. So that's vulnerable for me. Like I don't want to be in control if I have other people around me, but when I'm outside of my comfort zone, I want to be in control. What you got, John? Come on, Capo.
I'm gonna say I want to be vulnerable. I don't want to be vulnerable to the wrong person. or the wrong people or the wrong, you know what I'm saying, situations. So I want to be vulnerable.
Able to identify what it is that you're even feeling, to understand if you can't even put yourself in a predicament to be vulnerable. Can you put yourself in the space to be vulnerable with somebody, and is this the right person? And that takes a level of emotional awareness, emotional intelligence that a lot of the times people just don't have. It's not something that you get trained on. It's not something that's just taught. It's something that at some point in your life you have to realize, hey, like she said, I'm dealing with a dragon, or I got to face this person in the mirror, and nobody else can do that except me.
So what I want to ask is, how, Carly, I'm gonna ask you this question: how is it that you, in a relationship, do you want a man to be vulnerable or not?
Define vulnerability, because my definition of vulnerability is being open to harm, right? So, I mean, if we define what vulnerability is, like if I don't want somebody to be open to harm and see me that I'm going to be harmful to them, because that's where the fear comes in. Now, I think that I want somebody who can communicate and articulate what they need, exactly what they need from me, and exactly what I need from them. Okay, because vulnerability has, like I say, it's fear-based. It's fear-based. It's open to harm. So if you are thinking already in your head, if I'm vulnerable, which means you're going to harm me, there's grounds for, you're really not being vulnerable.
You know what? I like how you point that out, because that's a level of anxiety too, because I'm living in the future of not being vulnerable. My current state of mind is anxious.
Yeah.
So I'm uncomfortable already, because that is what I'm worried about not being or not experiencing. So you're already living into that future. So I appreciate how you articulate that. And that's the whole point. As men, we have to first self-examine ourselves first. And if you have a wife or a woman, you got to communicate that, because it means something different to everybody else. I never thought about how she described being vulnerable. So, but for us as the men, we have to figure out what our ingredients is for ourselves first. That's why not trying to get a girlfriend and having babies out of wedlock, all that stuff is not right or wrong, good or bad, but we put ourselves in predicaments and situations where we haven't developed ourselves to the capacity where I can articulate because the woman don't need us to bring home the bacon and the eggs and all that. They want us. Now we have to learn how to talk. We have to learn how to communicate. We have to learn how to be emotional intelligence, because my grandfather didn't have to do that when he was in the house. So now as men, because they're independent, they're doing what they do and they got what they need. Now I gotta learn how to listen. Now I gotta learn how to express my emotions, and that's what they want from us, and that's what we want from them. So as males and females, we have to figure out, as she said, you got to do your work first. And if you're not willing to do that work first, then you're going to be subject to the unforeseen consequences and the unforeseen expectations that people put on you, because you can't even articulate how you feel toward yourself.
To further answer your question, though, as well, we got like 1 minute. I can wrap it up in 1 minute. To further answer your question, though, like what do you expect to be vulnerable? Do we want men to be vulnerable? Yes, we do, but the right type of vulnerability. A lot of what we see as vulnerability as women from men is just toxicity. Okay, just we become a dumping ground.
Just scared from
okay,
from
and so then you can't even deal with it. Then you give it to us, like we're just supposed to whip something up in the kitchen. Okay, like come on, it's there. It's really hard on our end, and we'll build a whole mansion out of it sometimes.
It'd be hard on our end too.
Right, and it does. Absolutely right. But that comes back to what Josh said. Nobody trains us to do this.
Right.
Okay. More is caught than taught. If you pay attention, a woman knows. When we pay attention to our man. We know when he's going through something.
Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I guess 3 until we get some solutions or some more openness over here. We might have to bring this back one more time, because this Appreciate you, gentlemen, for being open and honest and sharing your experience. Oh, God. Oh, is that my caller? Oh, my goodness. Coach, I got time for you, Coach. I got to get out of here. I'll catch you on the IG Live or something. This is the front 5 FM, 10:50 a.m. Shout us out. What's the count?
KCAA. Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at MB Radio.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.